What would be the best way for us to go out this year than mention the top picks for the best nominees of boxing this year? We got 4 subjects. We got the biggest robbery, the biggest upset, the best knockout, and the best fight of the year. We are going to begin with the biggest robbery of the year. What would be your top picks for robbery of the year?
Well, my top picks will probably be Bivol and Better BF. I was just a lot more shocked that they gave it to Better BF. I'm not too mad at it, but it was shocking.
Another fight that I would say would be Foster versus Robesi Conceição. I feel like it was a good fight. It was close, but at the end of the day, we all saw Conceição getting outboxed. They did have a second fight, and Foster did come back and pull off the win.
Yeah.
So at least they got that mistake correct. And for our last pick and nominee would be Serrano versus Taylor 2.
What a fight that was.
The biggest event of boxing this year. That was, in front of millions and millions and millions of fans watching.
Good for women's boxing.
It is good for women's boxing, but it just sucks that, Serrano got robbed like that. I feel like she did enough. In the first fight, it was really close. I did give it to Taylor, but in this fight, I just feel like Amanda Serrano did enough to get the win in that fight. Of course, now we got to discuss our actual pick for robbery of the year.
It's going to be Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller.
The fact that, it was such a big event. Turki Al-Sheikh came out to the United States for the first time August 3rd on the Terrence Crawford undercard. And I remember us being there. Everybody rooted for Andy. It was an Andy Ruiz home crowd. I think he got the most cheers in the building. But after the fight, when they announced the scorecards and they gave it a draw, nobody.
Everyone in that freaking stadium thought Andy won that fight.
Andy won that fight. They thought Andy lost that fight, man.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's just crazy that they gave the fight to Andy Ruiz. I mean, the guy had a broken hand, but regardless, there's no excuses. He clearly got outpointed and lost to Big Baby Miller. And it just sucks that, again, it's such a big card, so many eyes watching. There had to be such a tragic scorecards, but I guess that's just boxing. I feel like they need to have that rematch, and we really do need to see who the best of both men really is. Andy Ruiz is a great fighter, but he takes too much time off, and I feel like he doesn't take the sport serious anymore.
Yeah, caught up to him.
Our next top pick would be for upset of the year. Would you like to mention our nominees?
Nominees are going to be AJ versus Dubois, Munguia versus Sarase, and Anderson versus Bacoli. Wow, all those fights were big upsets.
Now, I could for sure say that Jaime Munguia fight, nobody
No
thought,
one tuned in for that one, though.
Nobody thought the Suarez guy was going to win. He actually even got dropped in the fight. And he was just supposed to be like a little tune-up for Jaime Munguia, a home crowd. He had a whole home crowd. It was in Tijuana. So the fact that this guy got brutally knocked out in that fashion against a guy that nobody knows in the boxing world, it sucks for Jaime Munguia. I hope that he could get that rematch and come back from that. But, apart from that, Jared Anderson versus Bacoli.
That was shocking,
That was shocking, but that was an exciting type of win. Now, thanks to that, we know who Bacoli is.
Yeah, everyone was sleeping on him.
Yeah, everybody was sleeping on him. We thought Jared Anderson was going to be the new American heavyweight. Everybody was saying that he was going to be one of the best heavyweights in this new era. And the way he got put down, man, it looks like he was fighting George Foreman in there.
Now, for the last one, AJ versus Dubois, what a domination that was. I kind of feel bad for AJ because the way he got dominated, it was embarrassing.
It was sad, man. And nobody had Dubois. Everybody, we knew that Dubois was a good fighter and that he was going to give some issues, but including me, I thought AJ was going to have enough experience and enough power to pull it off. Respect to Dubois. I feel like he did what he had to do. But, of course, our top pick would be Ryan Garcia versus Devin the Dream Haney. I mean, remember the build-up to that fight? It was probably another one of the biggest fights of the year. There was so much build-up, so much animosity, so much controversial topics with Ryan Garcia acting crazy, having rants. And, it's just so shocking how the end of the fight result. The fact that Devin Haney got dropped several times, nobody expected it.
Yeah, with that fight, there's a lot of controversy around it. But everyone going into that fight, if you're a real boxing fan, you didn't think Ryan Garcia was going to win. Let's be honest here. No one gave – he was a 8-1 underdog, so absolutely no one gave him a chance.
I feel like the only ones that really thought he was going to win were the casuals. The little kids that only watch the highlights and see that Ryan gets knockouts. But those boxing, fans, the hardcore boxing fans, the enthusiasts, everybody saw the skill difference. You know, we all thought that Devin Haney had the better skills, and I still believe that Devin Haney has the better skills, but I think Ryan Garcia just has his number. On top of that, you know, all the allegations with the steroid use and the weight, you know, of course it plays a factor. Next, we got knockout of the year, and our nominees are
AJ versus Dubois, Fernando Lopez versus Angelo Leo, Moses Atama versus Dempsey McKean, and all those were perfect knockouts. I was very entertained by those.
Moses Otama, you know, the guy being 19 years old, he could break Mike Tyson's record for the youngest heavyweight champ if he gets a title shot. This guy he fought was his first actual test. Yeah. A lot of people don't know, but that same guy fought Filip Brgović.
And went all 12 rounds.
And went all 12 rounds. For those who don't know who Filip Brgović is, it's the guy that a lot of people said AJ would not beat. And even at this point, even though he lost to Daniel Dubois, we don't know how good Filip Brgović is yet. You know what I mean? We do know he's great, but we just don't know if he's going to get to that championship level. Venado Lopez versus Angelo Leo. A lot of people don't know who these guys are. They're smaller fighters. They're at featherweight. But Venado Lopez was having a nice little run. You know, he had destroyed Gabe Flores. He had fought some good fighters. But the way he got knocked out, you guys need to go back on YouTube and watch that knockout. It was by a hook. And after that, they said goodnight. Nobody's mentioned Venado Lopez's name after that.
Now, for the last one, AJ versus Dubois, I felt like that was one of the weaker knockouts, but it was shocking.
Yeah,
just, you definitely. Know, right when AJ looked like he was about to come back, he got him with that counter, and Dubois was backing up, and everyone thought that's when the tides were going to turn.
Yep.
At least I thought
that was the rocky part of the movie,
yeah, the
right?
rocky part. And then, man, when he got caught, that was shocking.
But one thing I could say about AJ, he's actually our winner for knockout of the year, and that's because he dominated and brutally knocked out Francis Ngannou. You know, guys, this isn't a shocker. I feel like we all knew that was going to happen, but the way it happened, man, just it's crazy. The fact that Francis Ngannou was looked at as the strongest puncher, period, not just in boxing or UFC, biggest puncher in the last couple years, and the way that AJ just showed him, you know what? There's a difference.
It was like it was like a masterclass. It looks like he took him to school, and then, you know, at the end of class, he just knocked him out.
Man, it's really crazy. I remember there was that one part of the fight where Ngannou threw that jab and it came this close to hitting AJ's face. Yeah. AJ didn't react, just let go of that right hand and automatically dropped Francis Ngannou.
What a masterclass performance.
He folded him, and, you know, I wish Ngannou the best. You know, he still has my respect because he came into the boxing world. You know, to me, I felt like he won against Tyson Fury. I think he did just enough to say, hey, man, this guy beat Tyson Fury.
Arguably the upset of last year.
Yeah, that's for sure the upset of last year, in my opinion. But, of course, AJ showed him what boxing really is, and he schooled him and folded him down like a chair. And our last pick would be for fights of the year. Now, I would like to say these nominees versus Katie Taylor 2 and Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury 1. All those fights were great. We could start with Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, too. In my opinion, again, she did enough to pull it off. But regardless, they were both warriors, just like the first fight. No respect. All respect outside the ring. Yeah. But when they're inside of the ring, they make men boxing look like a joke. These girls come in with the killing mentality.
Exactly. And I thought the first one was a little bit better, but this one, they didn't pull back on no punches. Both of them really wanted that win. Yeah, you know, it's unfortunate. I wish we could have got that trilogy, but it is what it is. But the fans got a fantastic fight.
Another one I will say, Caleb Plant versus Trevor McCumbee. I mean, for it being under the Canelo undercard, they showed out. That was the fight I decided, saying, you know what, Caleb Plant, he might be a little chinny, but he has heart. He has balls of steel, and we got to appreciate that. Another fight, Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury 1. When we talk about boxing, I feel like that's one of the higher levels of boxing.
One of the more meaningful fights.
Exactly, for sure. One of the more meaningful fights in the last 20 years in this era, for sure. I mean, two heavyweight unified champions, you know, fighting for undisputed in Saudi Arabia. The fact that they put on for the crowd, and it wasn't too much of a war, but I like to see the boxing aspect of it.
There was a science to it.
There was a beautiful science to it. For those that love boxing, you know, these are the fights you want to watch because both of those guys have crazy IQ, crazy footwork. Of course, they're a little bit past their prime, I want to say, especially Usyk. But that's another thing. Usyk's a smaller fighter, the older fighter. And the fact that he schooled Tyson Fury not just once, but twice, that you got to give respect to where respect's due. And to me, that's one of the fights of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
But to end this conversation with Fight of the Year, now a lot of people might not agree. I feel like this one really went underappreciated, but I really, really did enjoy watching Virgil Ortiz versus Serhiy Bohachuk.
What a fight that was, right? Man, that was a shocker because ain't no one gave Bohachuk. At least I didn't give him no freaking
That's because
chance.
we didn't know him.
Yeah.
But you know what, guys? We really need to start paying attention to these Soviet-style fighters, man. We need to start paying attention to the Middle East, guys, because these guys are starting to take over.
These Ukrainians, man, they're coming in. They're coming in boxing.
These guys just don't play, man. You know, Virgil Ortiz has always been looked at as a great fighter. Never been an official world champion. You know, he did get dropped 2 times in that fight. You know, and a lot of people consider Bohachuk for the win. A lot of people thought he won. In my opinion, I think Virgil did do enough.
Yeah.
I saw Virgil learn a little bit more things in that fight. Not only did I still see the same aggression that he had at 147 welterweight, I saw the power, I saw some speed, but more than anything, I saw a jab.
And I saw a ring IQ, a very, not too high, but he does have an IQ. That showed to me what kind of person he is.
I'm very happy he came back with Robert Garcia, to be honest, because I think that's what happens when you come back with a great coach. I think Robert Garcia this year, I was watching Ellie Setback saying that he had like 70 wins to like 7 losses out of all his fighters. You know, that's a crazy record. I don't even know if that's even been done before. But the fact that, you know, Virgil came back with Robert Garcia, you could tell they're learning more on the boxing side of aspect instead of just being so aggressive and always put pressure. He started doing a flick jab, man. He started looking like Muhammad Ali there, being on his toes.
Yeah.
Of course, Bohachuk, credit to that guy, man. Nobody knew him, but he's long, he's rangy, and he hits hard. Yep. You know, before the fight, I saw a couple interviews of Virgil saying that he didn't think he was going to be able to knock him out. And this is a guy that knocked out every fighter that he's been in the ring with. So he already knew what was coming. To me, like I said, that was Fight of the Year for sure. I believe if they have a rematch, it's still going to be a crazy fight.
It would be a crazy fight. And I'm very excited to see what Bohachuk will bring us in the future.
I just wish he would have fought Madrimov, man, because that would have been a crazy fight.
Respect to Madrimov for a second. We thought he was actually going to fight both guys back to back.
But let us know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with our picks, or would you guys believe something different? Thank you guys for once again tuning in. My name's Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm your boy, Mac. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in all year round. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and we're out.